Hari Om, I'm Anisha Chaudhary. I'm doing my CFA, that's Chartered Financial Analyst. And today I would be narrating my 26/11 terrorist incident in which I felt that Bapu, my Sadguru, came to save me, to protect me, and he practically saved my life. And I believe that I'm standing here in front of all of you all today only because he was there to save me, and he picked me up from a very dangerous and a very tedious situation and practically brought me back to life. I'd start off with a little bit of my childhood background. I've been born and brought up in a very spiritual and a very religious kind of a family, where I've always seen my father being a Param Bhakt of Sai Baba. He's always been in Sai Dham, doing whatever seva, whatever he could as a devotee to Sai Baba. And I've grown up seeing my mother as another Param Bhakt of Datta Guru, where she would sit down every day and read Datta Bhavani to me and tell me different stories about how God is. And as an inquisitive child, I've always wanted to know. And I've gone up to my father asking him, what is God? How do I see God? Can I see him walking? Can I touch him? Can I feel him? Where is God? And he said, all you have to do is go to Sai Dham, sit in front of Sai Baba, connect with him, and you'll be able to see him. But as you know, when you're young, you're rebellious, you're reckless, you're out there, you don't completely have that firm faith in God unless and until you have that kind of an experience, which brings you back on track and makes you realize that there is some sort of a supernatural power that grips you and makes you realize there is someone up there who's always looking over you, who's always protecting you, who has a very watchful eye on you. And that is what I felt. 26/11 started when I was going to Leopold for a friend's birthday. Actually, it was a very funny incident because we had booked another restaurant, but we couldn't get through. So me, my best friend, and the birthday girl, Karishma, we ended up going to Leopold. And this is a little bit of an explanation, all right? Leopold has a mezzanine floor. It has a ground floor and a mezzanine floor. So we went up the mezzanine floor, up the ladder, the fleet of stairs, and there were these small tables where me and my best friend, we were sitting there, and we were waiting for the birthday girl to come, who was obviously very late. And after that, we got a bigger table, we shifted, a little bit more on the inside, and we had a table for 20, and we were waiting on all our friends. And suddenly, I heard this loud, banging sound, as if somebody fell down off a chair. It wasn't a very evident sound in the starting, but it was pretty clear, pretty evident on the whole. And I cracked this stupid joke saying, I think somebody fell, ha ha ha. But I didn't know what was really coming up that day, what the agenda of the whole day was. So we waited for a while, and after a while we heard a lot of screaming. And then started the gunshot noises, where people were yelling and running, and things were breaking downstairs on the ground floor. And I myself, I didn't have a slight idea what was precisely happening. Because, on the mezzanine floor, the windows are shut, everything is closed. You can't really see what's perpetually happening downstairs. And suddenly, I hear this man climbing up the stairs. And everybody starts running on the mezzanine floor. Everybody's running. There's a complete havoc. I don't know what's happening. And I look at my two friends and I'm like, what are we going to do? I don't know what this is. Must be some sort of a gang war. Or I don't know, because I can just hear bullet shots. And everybody was scared, petrified. People were talking to each other saying, Kya ho raha hai? Kya ho raha hai? Let's go get some shelter. Let's run down. Let's stay up. Let's hide in the bathroom. So there was a complete mess. And I myself, I was in shock. And I could see my two friends really scared, sitting in a corner saying, Kya kare, kya kare, kya kare? And suddenly, I see this man running up the stairs. And I realized that something's going wrong. And I see this big man standing right behind him. This person had a gun around him. And he didn't use that gun. He took out this small dagger. And he started stabbing him several times. And this man who climbed up this fleet of stairs started rolling down. And after that, I think, was the scariest moment I feel of my life. I heard that man who stabbed that other fellow who fell down laugh. It was the most wicked, the most sinister laugh I've heard in my whole life. After killing somebody, getting the satisfaction of killing someone. That was extremely, extremely scary. And this poor person came rolling down the stairs. And I didn't know what to do. So I caught both of my friends. And the only thing that I know is evacuation during, an earthquake or how you protect yourself. So the first thing that I did was hide under the table. And I saw everybody was doing the same thing. They started running into this small little bathroom which could maybe occupy 1-2 people. And there were 10 people packed in that small bathroom. And then there was this DJ console that had another, 2-3 people trying to cover and hide. Then the other people who were running around were breaking chairs, they were breaking glasses, they were breaking plates. So the whole floor was, filled with shards, glasses, and like pieces of wood, wood and a glass all over the floor. So I was like, there has to be something wrong happening, and I don't know what it is, but this isn't right. All I could think was, Bapu, what is happening? I need to know what is happening, because I had no way of communicating with anybody out there. There's no signal, there was no network. And then suddenly, that man who was with the gun, the terrorist, he came up the stairs, and the same table that me and my best friend were sitting on 15 minutes back was shot. And there was a couple on that particular table. And the woman got a bullet shot directly in her arm. And she died right there, like a complete, dead corpse. She was lying on that chair. And that poor man, he was shot in his leg. And I was sitting next to this extremely pregnant woman and her husband. And he looked at me and he said, I think that man is dying out there. We should do something. All I could think about was like, where is my Bapu? And I took out my locket and I gripped it as tightly as I could, trying to hold my Bapu's hand, saying, Bapu, where are you? We need you, everyone out here. Because I could see people crying and screaming and telling everybody, we're going to die, we're going to die. But in my head, I was like, no, I'm not going to die today. And why? Because I know my Bapu will come. That is my belief. And he is going to come. He's going to pick me up from this situation. He's going to save everybody here. And I just held on to this. And the first mantra that popped into my head, which always happens, is my Dattamala mantra. And I started chanting it. A lot of people were trying to communicate with me, but no. In my mind, my mantra was going on. Om Namo Bhagavate Dattatreya Smarnamatu Santushtaya. It was going on and on and on. I never stopped, not even for a second. I myself don't know how many times I must have chanted that particular mantra. But it went on like a CD, like a record, just going on in my head. And then we got up. The pregnant lady's husband said, Mujhe lagta hai we should go and help this particular fellow who's got shot on the same table that I was sitting on. And I'm thinking in my head, Bapu, I could have been there. You've picked me up from that table and you've brought me here to safety. He's already done a little bit of his wonder. And I was waiting for something bigger. I'm like, I'm waiting, Bapu, I'm waiting. Show me something big. We need you. Everybody needs you right now. And then we both, me and the particular husband, we got up and we tried to drag that guy. Even then I had held on to my Bapu and he had held on to me. And we were trying to pull that man to safety because he was right there next to the stairs and he was just about to get shot all over again. So we tried to pull him, and I'm still saying Om Namo Bhagavate in my head. And suddenly I heard these bullet shots all over again. It was like raining bullets all over. And then he was like, we have to save ourselves. I think this poor man is almost dead. We should move. So then we came back to the particular table that we were hiding against. I looked at my friend. She was so scared, my best friend. She was in shock. I kept telling her, Zina, pray to Bapu. You believe in him, right? You believe in him as much as me. Pray to him. He's going to come. He's going to get us out. She was just not ready to move. She was completely in shock. I didn't know what to do. I had two of my best friends sitting with me who were not ready to communicate. I was like, Bapu, where are you? Bapu, where are you? This kept going on in my head while my mantra was going on. And then suddenly I heard this big, extremely on the heavier side woman crash down on the floor out of panic and tension. And these terrorists realized again that there are more people upstairs and we should kill some more people. So they came up all over again and started shooting more. And at that point of time, I would say there was like a force field. I believe there was a force field around the place that me and my friends and a few other people were sitting behind. Because how is it possible that they could damage so many people right around me? I could see people falling down like flies, literally. But me and my friends, we were unscratched. We were absolutely kept so safely cocooned under that table. It was just extremely surprising in a very pleasant way, because I could feel protected, really protected. And then after a while, everything was calming down and the bullet shots stopped and everything was going on. Still my mantra, my Datta Bappa, my Bapu was still with me and I was praying. Then suddenly these two foreigner women, they were coming, they came out, they got out of where they were hiding, and she had this big piece of, a glass shard stuck up her ankle. And she was in pain and she was crying. And she was like, what do I do? What do I do? Please take it out. And I know at that point of time, I think a little bit of awareness and sanity was there in my mind only because of Bapu, because there's no way on planet Earth that anybody can be in the right presence of mind in that situation. Everyone's scared for their life. Nobody is ready to, think in that situation. But I had that kind of, presence of mind because of my Bapu. And I think my Bapu spoke through me. He said, you're not going to be hurt. Don't worry. Sit right next to me. Pray to Jesus. Pray to your God. He's going to come. I don't know how I said that. I don't know how these words even, escaped my mouth. But they just came out. And she was so happy and satisfied and content. Okay, no, there is my Jesus is going to come. My God is going to come. And she sat down beside me and she was in pain, but that pain was still very, she could handle that pain. She could tolerate that pain because she started praying to her Jesus. She just needed that kind of assurance that God will come for you. You have to wait. And after that, I think the whole turmoil ended and the bullet shots stopped and everything was over. And I still had my Bapu with me and I was trying to communicate with him. I'm like, what do I do, Bapu? What do I do? Because nobody was ready to talk. People were so scared. They were not ready to communicate back. And then all these people were like, let them go first. Let them go first. Because if there are any terrorists down there, they'll get shot. I should be get shot. Let them go. Let the girls go. Let the girls go. So it was a very bad situation where everybody was, saving their own individual skin in that particular moment. Nobody cared. Someone's hurt. Someone's dying. We walked down. While walking, my slippers, the slippers that I was wearing, my footwear, it broke. And I couldn't walk. And the whole place was filled with plate glass and mugs, glass. And it was just filled with like pokey things because everything was trashed in that place. So it was like walking on, we would say, an entire road filled with glass. And I couldn't walk. And at that point of time, my best friend, who was so much in shock, suddenly spoke to me. And she was like, Anisha, you take my slippers. I will walk without my slippers. You take my slippers. So I said, Zina, what is wrong with you? You're going to get hurt. If I can walk on this and get hurt, you're human. You're going to get hurt. She's like, I'm fine. And I could see this, certain level of confidence in her, which was extremely reassuring because this is the same kind of girl who sat right next to me trembling in complete and utter shock. And now she had this surging amount of energy and confidence. And she was like, we are going to be okay. You don't worry. You take my slippers. I will walk without mine. And I'm like, I don't think so. And we started fighting there because she is my best friend and I'm her best friend and we can't let each other walk like that and get hurt. And then she was like, we are going to get saved. Let's walk now. Let's go down. And these people sent us down first. So we went down. I saw all these dead bodies lying all over the place. And I was like, we have been saved from this. That is all that was going on in my head. And even then, I still had my Bapu with me. I had his hand in my hand. And we walked out of this place and we went to the police station. We were put in the Kulaba police station. And I called up my father. There was no network out there. But look at how my Bapu works. I got enough signal to call up my father. And I called up my father. And as usual, my father came running to get his daughter. And another miraculous thing that really happened was the random coincidence, which is obviously Bapu's doing. There's nobody else who could have done it. Was the inspector in that particular police station was my father's extremely good childhood friend. So it didn't take much time for my father to come in and just pick us up and take us back home. And on my way, all I could think about was this would have not been possible. Till I reached home, I had gripped this locket, which is, I think, my life-saving kavach, which has always been my life-saving kavach. And till I reached home, I had this in my hand. And after I reached home, I thought that Bapu is not just my Sadguru. He's not just, a man who is extremely spiritually elevated or something like that. He is practically my everything. Without this one man, I wouldn't be where I am. And I owe my entire life my everything to him. Because if my Bapu wasn't there to save me at that point of time, I wouldn't be standing right here today in front of all of y'all narrating this incident. Hari Om.